What is up, good people? Jungle Link here. Hope you're doing well. Big showdown between the SEC and Binance today in court, and it might not have been as dominating as we saw with Coinbase, but I'll tell you this, after reading the recaps, I think Binance has the stronger position on most of these issues. And what we don't want here is Coinbase to have this big win and then Binance this massive loss, because they're kind of offsetting. But if time and time again the courts look at the Ripple court case, Grayscale, Coinbase, and Binance, and it's a sweeping victory for crypto, that puts us in a much better position. So Attorney Jeremy Hogan says the following: SEC versus Binance hearing, my conclusions. Secondary sale, that's in Binance's favor. And I think that's a big one. That's what we really care about, the trade of crypto tokens on the secondary market. Most of these tokens are not securities, and therefore the SEC should have no jurisdiction over them unless Congress grants them that authority. This is similar to the Ripple court case, except instead of just XRP, it's the whole market, right? He says with fair notice and the major questions doctrine, that's in the SEC's favor, and that didn't work for Ripple either, this whole fair notice defense. To be honest, if no one can answer a straight question from the SEC on what's legal, what is not, to me, fair notice makes a lot of sense. But from a legal perspective, it doesn't seem to work in court from what we've seen. The last conclusion from Attorney Jeremy was, he says, if you hold BNB token, you might want to take a good hard look at hitting the sell button. Is there some sort of investment contract there? Did the judge indicate that? I got to be honest, with that high of a market cap, with all the trouble at Binance, and stack on top of it this stuff with the SEC, it's a pretty centralized coin to begin with that relies a lot on Binance, the entity. With that high of a market cap, I ain't a big fan of it right now. Let me know down below what you think. Are you still an investor in the Binance coin? Do you think it will perform well over the next crypto bull run? It's a widely used ecosystem. A lot of money flows through it. I'm not discounting that fact, but it seems like an awful lot of risk there. Too much for me. Now, we have Metal Lawman just doing a great job of recapping all the legal issues out there in crypto. And he said the following: the hearing is concluded, some big takeaways. The judge seems skeptical of the idea that BUSD stablecoin was offered in an investment contract. So we saw a ruling here recently where the judge said, well, you earn yield off it, therefore it's some sort of security. And we're all saying, wait a minute here. You earn yield off US dollars and all sorts of value. That doesn't make it a security per se. So maybe we'll get a different result here, a conflicting result that might show weakness in the SEC's position towards staking. And would that apply not just to stables, but the overall broader crypto market? There's a heck of a lot of coins out there you can stake and earn yield. Let's hope so. Let's hope the judge is going to go against that ruling. Honestly, that one's a scary one to me. But this judge seems skeptical to that premise. The judge seems receptive to the argument that Binance initially offered the BNB token as an investment contract. That's not a huge deal. It's much like a lot of these coins have done ICOs. Doesn't mean that they are securities today, but that offering, maybe that should have been registered if U.S. investors were allowed to partake. The judge seems uncomfortable with the idea that a token, even if offered initially as an investment contract, continues to be a security when traded on the secondary market for all eternity. Makes sense. That initial raise, that's a securities offering, but the token that's bouncing around, on exchanges, that doesn't offer any investment in an enterprise. It's not a bond or some kind of debt security. Therefore, the token itself shouldn't be a security. I think that's the way this will land, as most things before it have indicated. Now, I like this one. The judge was resistant to the idea of having many trials over the 10 other tokens listed in the complaint were sold as an investment contract where the issuers of these 10 tokens are not in the case. So that's good. We don't have Cardano or Atom or Matic, all of these tokens being claimed to be a security, but the people involved, they're not in the court case to defend themselves. That's wildly unfair. So hopefully we don't go down that road. The judge pushed the SEC on the boundary where a token is considered a commodity and when it should be considered a security. And of course, the SEC has no answer for that. They make up a different answer every other day depending on what suits them. Crypto Lawman was a little disappointed and Binance lawyers for not really pushing the issue about tokens and the fact that they don't carry with them any rights to income, assets, profits, blah, blah, blah. He wished they would have pushed that a little farther to really drive home the point that these tokens are not securities. But overall, it seems like a more advantageous hearing for Binance. Again, this is one of those things. This process we know takes years. Hopefully they can come to some sort of reasonable settlement. I wouldn't expect it with the current environment over at the SEC, even though it would be the sensible thing. Because even in Binance, it looks like the SEC has a losing position on most of these issues. Let's hope the Coinbase case gets tossed out of court. But if I was a betting man, I would say both of these run the distance. Both Coinbase and Binance win most of the issues. And there'll be a few infractions, of course, big fines, but at the end of the day, a bunch of nothing and wasted time. But if that's what it takes, it's what we gotta do. Just keep chipping away. We're on the right side of the law, and we will keep winning these court cases. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.